Welcome in. We're back. We're doing Space Engineers things. I've captured a thing. So the pirates, no matter what I do, unless I stay completely and totally uninvolved, the pirates love me. Because I'm either beating up the GC or destroying competitors by blowing up their spice harvesting operations, or, you know, human trafficking, or whatever it is that the various orgs are doing. So the pirates keep loving me. And the side effect of that is they don't consider me a threat, or rather, their automated systems don't consider me a threat. Because much like the GC, about half the pirate fleets out here are automated. So I can walk up to them, lock on, drop a hacking computer or two down, and in a couple minutes I've taken over enough systems I can bring it to a stop and tow it back here, and then, you know, grind the parts down. So that's kind of where we are. The nice thing, I mean, this was a big pirate warship that I took intact because of this. And the nice thing about this, there is apparently there was at one point a gravity generator on this. You can see my hacking computer. Because when I walked over here initially and stood right here, it just sucked me right off the edge into itself. So the nice thing, though, is that buried back in here, there are 2 intact jump drives, which is nice. That's a lot of superconductors. That's a lot of fun things. There's a lot of quantum computers. So I'm happy for those. So I flagged all this stuff to be ground down by the Bobs. We'll see if Build and Repair gets it done. We'll come back to that in a minute. I have set up additional Abmor drones, one for silver and one for gold. Not that we really needed the silver, but silver sells for a lot, comparatively speaking. And I didn't want to use up all my silver. So we've got an Abmor that's retrieving silver. I've got a second one pulling additional uranium for much the same reasons. Ooh, that's kind of... Let's get off the ground here for a little bit. Limit the amount of noise from the processing. And then gold, because we actually were running out of gold. Which that one I think just came back and dropped off its second load since I set it up initially. So there's that. It's pretty neat. Cobalt's coming back. Cobalt comes in pretty quick and regular. We are currently sitting on a grand total of 39,000 credits. But we have a lot of Dorium. Because I've been going and selling pretty much anything Station 27 will buy. And then buying all the Dorium that the ITC is selling there. So we've got 22,500 ingots right now. We've got another 9 reinforced plates that are still being broken down, in 3,100 reinforced drill bits. Which that's really the gold part right there, because those drill bits are 5 Dorium ingots apiece. Whereas the reinforced plates are just 1. But between buying raw Dorium ingots and then the reinforced drill bits and the plates, if I load up the Possum with all the civilian products I can, we can sell out what they've got for open orders for civilian products and most ingots. We're not selling platinum because we're not making anywhere near enough platinum to make that worth it. Plus the round trip from the moon is stupid long. And I'm not selling tantalum because it's got a lot of value to it. I'd rather hold on to it. Not that we're short on it or we're hurting, but I'd rather have it than not, just in case. And we're not selling like crystal or spice. I did go retrieve some more. We're still working through that in the exotics. 4.2 million raw crystal, 1.8 million raw spice still. That said, we've got 2,300 crystal prisms and somewhere in there we've got refined spice. 4,500 refined spice. That doesn't include the 20,000 refined spice that's in the spice energizer here, which is used to make the activated spice. Because I've got that hidden so it doesn't get counted. But that's how that's gone. I've considered I've considered converting the buzzard over to activated spice, and it would require stripping so many systems out. I refuse to. That's what it comes down to. So that's staying rocket. I've moved the activated spice tanks we do have over here with the deuterium. That might change later. All of our cargo on the spine is gone, because I got tired of it being there. I thought it looked goofy. I didn't like it. So I got rid of it all. And it's over here in this big log now. It is pressurized. The expansion of the ring to be fully sealed is proceeding. Top and bottom is pressurized, and we've got an unholy amount of storage here. Like, there's zero reason we should ever run out of storage ever again, I feel. Even if we were to, like, bring 1 trillion build and repairs and rip up Port Mordor, because that would take so long to take apart. And brought all the parts back here, it wouldn't be, it's not something that, it would take too long. That said, I have, as a result, relocated all of our assault cannons onto the outside of this spar. I'm not concerned about the damage because we do have a shield, but having the guns here on the outside rather than the inside means that if things attack us from the side, they can't hide. And I did the same thing over here with the industrial sector. At some point, I may fix the fact that these are off by 1, but that would require reprogramming drones, and so it probably will never get fixed. And I did the same thing over here. This down here has been enclosed, and then I realized just now that I apparently put some panes backwards because the see-through side is on the outside now. So that's a tad frustrating. I might have to go back and fix that. But that's also pressurized with all those things. And then the only other thing that's really updated, I think, has been this. So the Clang-doors, I went through and changed them up some. And I started the process of going over to composite armor. These need to be replaced still. I'm waiting on more composite plates. And then we've got the aluminum block. The aluminum block is the other new block type added by IO and or the scenario. It's half the weight, I believe. Aluminum block. It is 175 kilograms. Yeah, 175 kilograms for 1250 integrity versus light armor's 500 kilos for 2500. So it's half the integrity, but it's a third the weight. Mass. You know what I mean. And that's honestly outstanding. I love that. That's honestly pretty outstanding. And the advantage with the composite armor is, even compared to heavy, looking at 20,000 points of integrity, right, for 600 kilograms, whereas heavy armor was... I don't think I have a piece of heavy armor on my inventory still anymore. It's like 75% the mass of heavy armor for twice the integrity points. So... And explosive resist. So for an exterior position, it is less mass than heavy armor would be for twice the protection. So we could theoretically do half blocks with the right block. We could do half blocks and have the exact same, well, not quite as 10,000 for a large heavy versus 9,600 for a half. But then it comes in at a third the weight because it's 75 and then halved. So I'm kind of excited about that. But we've started building some things out. This is the new door array, and so I'm going to replace all the light blocks eventually with this aluminum, and then anything that's on the actual exterior is going to get composite armor on it, because even if we do all aluminum armor for everything instead of light armor, if we then go back and put a layer of composite on top, it's still less weight than doing a single layer in heavy. And then if the shields go down, if the shields act up, if the shields do anything they shouldn't, it won't matter, because we'll be able to take the hits. It's just getting the Dorium is going to be a little bit time-consuming, because I don't want to fight the ITC. I'm not a pirate, despite the fact that the pirates love me, like I'm stealing their own ships. If they want to put automated drones in this system still and use them, despite it being very clearly broadcast how bad an idea that is, and even the GC bringing in their own guys now, that's on them. If they don't want to put basic protections up to prevent somebody from just walking up and walking off with their ship, that's their problem. So, much like the Clang-doors last time, I need to set up timers for this still to make it work smoothly. But it's pretty much the same concept, except instead of pulling up and in, it pulls in and rotates out. So this whole thing unlocks, all these pistons retract up, and then the doors pivot out and then lock to here. That's ultimately the goal for that. Because at the end of the day, that's more useful, and that's a lot more automatable. And then, of course, these doors I can split into groups and go from there. I've renamed everything already. I went through the hassle of building it out, and we'll see how that works. Did I stick this... Hang on, did I stick this upside down? No, that's up. Okay. Did I stick one of them upside down? Some of these look different, but I can't tell why. It says up. Maybe it's not. Maybe I've got the other ones I was using in backwards? I thought the little dots went on top, and I just realized that. Are these upside down? Am I losing my mind? I might be. Nope, okay, just losing my mind. Good to know. So with this, this is pretty much done. And I've got a line of conveyors that run the outside edge of this. And they plug into conveyor ports here. So technically, this entire thing is cargo plumbed. So we can actually use these pistons and all that to move cargo if we need to. And we can also hook them up like with whatever we want on these conveyors and go from there. Because, I don't know, it felt fun. I didn't have it initially, and I was kind of annoyed about it. And I'm like, well, you know, maybe we'll just do it. And then, worst case scenario, we've got the ability to temporarily attach things like little remoras onto the body of this big shark. And that's the goal. And of course, I decided after fighting with everything, and, 3 hours of Clang fights last time, I'm just going to go back to the basics, right? So we've got sideways sets blast doors so that we don't touch when we lock in place, and then everything else is just pretty standard stuff. And because there's blast doors covering all these parts, I don't have to do goofy corner pieces. I can just do flat corner pieces, or slopes rather, for this part, and it works just fine. So that's the way that's going. I roughed in a walkway for how I want things to work when this is actually up and running. This is going to be the front. The red and green blocks are basically to mimic navigation lights. There we go. To mimic navigation lights and show me which side is port versus starboard, because I want to build it facing that way forwards. So everything coming in from above is going to eventually be in from up here, as far as shaping goes. This is just a temporary bridge connecting it back in. And I've got another section down here. I want to put things like, living quarters and medical facilities and all the electronic stuff here. Probably the shield as well. And then have the actual, cockpit be up this way, the bridge in this case. because this thing is that large. The main hangar bay, and then buried in the walls are going to be the cargo network, which this is probably overkill, but maybe it's not. So right now all this stuff is that horrifyingly bright purple ignore color. So I can rough stuff in without the building repairs constantly trying to build it or tear it all apart. And then go from there. And, yeah. And then back here is going to be fuel, thrusters, stuff like that. I still want to do the activated spice for regular thrusters instead of ions. Yes, it means that we're beholden to some sort of refuel depot. But at the same time, they're just so much more powerful, and they don't require as much like actual raw power, so that means our deuterium burns a lot slower, and that's honestly the bigger part. Plus, 7.2 meganewtons of thrust versus 4.3 for way less, right? Like a large ion thruster's 47 tons for 4.3 meganewtons, impulse thrusters 5.5 for 7. Not entirely unlike the large rocket thruster, right? Compared to rocket thrusters, the impulses are only slightly less heavy, but they've got half the power. They also burn their fuel slower, and the fuel we can refine at like 150 times rate, so it's less of an issue. And the amount of weight it would take in tanks. Right, because these tanks are 3 tons apiece. To make up the difference between an impulse thruster and an ion thruster, we'd have to have so many tanks per thruster. It's not worth. So, impulse is the way to go. Let's go ahead and recharge our suit here. We'll crack open an iced tea while we're at it. Things will work. Close our hood. So that's the plan. We're going to work on the ship more. We might make runs down to buy more Dorium. We'll see how that goes. I haven't quite decided yet. So far, I've been doing it off camera, just because it's kind of boring. I don't really see the value in doing it on camera, but if anybody really wants to see it, we can do that. I don't think anybody's going to say that. So the question that I then have is, if all the fuel tanks and the thrusters and all that are back here, do I want to actually put in a full suite of manufacturing stuff? Because with running Industrial Overhaul, that's a lot of machines, right? That's everything top and bottom over here. And yes, there's duplicates, right? Like there's 6 exotic refineries. The crushers and all that stuff are, duplicate one. There are two full sets there, 2 sets for some of the plate stamps and things like that. So, like, for building big things, we'd really have to scale it up, because this is larger than the entire plant hull would be, and I don't want to do that. But a single copy may not be bad. It feels kind of silly to have a ship this big and not. Especially since, theoretically, we're going to have multiple ships inside its hangar bay. And go from there. And yes, we could drop, killer tomatoes or pumpkin spice from this if the bay doors open. Not if they're closed, but if they open, it's doable. And at that point in time, if I do that, do I put them all back here, all the manufacturing stuff, all the refining stuff back here? Does that make a big difference if I do so? Do I split the tanks for thrusters then? It's probably not a bad idea to do so. And at the end of the day, these fusion thrusters are monsters. They still weigh less, they have less mass than an ion thruster, but they produce so much. Here's the big problem with these. That's the damage cone. That orange cylinder which goes off into infinity there, 750 meters. That's the damage cone. The mount points are in blue. See the issue with the cone? Now, granted, everything during that dome section on the back end there doesn't actually deal damage. But that is a considerable difference versus, say, a rocket thruster, right, which starts damaging from the back of that, but it only goes straight out from there. This actually damages an area 3 times its own cross-section. So we can't bury them in things. I ran some tests just to make sure this wasn't wrong. It's accurate. Like, the curved part doesn't do damage, but everything from where the cylinder actually starts absolutely does. So that means we need to put these exterior facing somewhere. And if we want to put them for vertical lift on the, facing downwards, they have to be exposed. And I don't know that I like that. Or if I do, it's going to require some very specific styling to get around that limitation. Versus just sticking them in the back, that works. We're going to need so many gyros. Is there a boosted gyroscope in this pack by any chance? There's not. Okay. So, yeah, we're gonna need so many gyroscopes. We had like 72 or something like that for the ring when we were first maneuvering it into position. It was just the ring. 72 additional gyroscopes plus all the ones on the boat. We need a lot more because this is going to turn drunkenly otherwise. And yes, it's a big ship. It's effectively a capital class, right? Like, this is the closest thing to a frigate we're going to have. And yet, if it turns too slow, it's useless. We're going to have guns everywhere on the outside. But everything else, not so much. So, let's get some parts. As we go down here to production blocks, how tight could we pack this? Because we got it. What we did put at the crystal base was decently compact on a 2-dimensional scale, but not super compact. So let's see how tight we can wrap this. Let's take some steel plates. We'll take some aluminum plates. We'll take some construction components. I just saw some. There we go. We'll do a set of girders. I don't really need those, but we'll have them anyway. And we're going to make sure that we are in the ignore color. And let's see how tight we can get this. So we're in the production block set. We're going to go with the regular, not the industrial assembler, but the regular assembler, because there's not really a reason not to. So we're going to get into issues anyway as it is. And this is just bigger for no reason. So let's start with the refinery. We need a crusher. What's the other one we need? Let's see. For a purifier. Refinery, we need a smelter. We're going to need... We don't need any fuel oil refining if we go this route, because we're not using rocket fuel, and we're not using gasoline or anything else. Space nerds. Space nerds indeed. So if we do this, we can just cut that out, which is a huge chunk of space that's not needed. We still need a chem refinery, because lithium, niter, sulfur Theoretically. I don't actually know. We may not. We might do it anyway just to have it, but I don't know that it's necessary. We can also use refined spice or catalyzer to get even more boosts, but I don't know. I don't really know that's necessary. We've never done it this entire time. I don't know that it's worth. And then we'll need a uranium centrifuge, because of course we will. Just to have it, if nothing else, and then a reprocessor. Which that requires potassium nitrate and sulfur, so that makes the chemical refinery worth it on its own, right? So, let's go into ports mode. We're going to start with, let's start with the Industrial Refinery. Alright, that gives us 2 ports on the sides and 1 on the top. If we come in here this way, Rock Crusher is going to sync up that way. Oh no, but if we do it this... hang on. For the refinery stuff, we would need to use sorters to limit what can go in. But ultimately, the only one we need to actually put sorters on is the refinery. Oh, I did the wrong thing. This stupid industrial one I just talked about not wanting to do. We only have to limit what comes into the refinery itself. So if we do that last... that's not a big deal. Alright, so we've got... nope, crap. There we go. So there's those. We do a purifier. Do that on the side. Put a chem refinery down. So far everything is connected. We need to either use stuff to wrap it back around, because I think that's about as wide as we can go. Maybe not, we need like walking space. We put a conveyor port here. There's our junction. This only has those 2 exits. Yep, and this has one over here. So we'll put a conveyor junction here as well. Yeah, it works good. And we can attach things. No. Well, I would if the build-in repairs weren't deleting things. Which asshole stole that? We do it over here. Away from the build-in repairs and their hatefulness. So what if... did it like on the boat. Started sideways. So I could come in here and do something like this. That should be where port is, right? Yeah, that's where port is. Okay, so there's that. We put our refinery down there. We run our chem refinery. Come on. Okay. Put on our lock. We can actually see we're sticking stuff. There we go. And then our uranium centrifuge. We can stick it up here, hanging off this side. We're still feeding everything in from the bottom, right? And we got our sorry, that was our centrifuge. We need a reprocessor to pick up the old waste fuel. And at that point, that gives us 2 ports that way and 1 that way. You do it this way. Carefully grind that. Alright, nuclear reprocessor, that goes back there. That's plumbed port in that way. We got 2 ports that stick out that way without touching anything else. We've got an open face there on that side of that block. And we've got an open face on this end, but I don't know what we need further. In fact, we could then set up oh crap, I had them where to go. Did I take them off my hotbar? I might have taken them off my hotbar. I did. I'm the worst. Alright, so conveyor sorter, and then that goes into the refinery. Under the replace block. Are we down inside a block? We're down inside of a block, aren't we? How big is this? No, that's not. Why is it not? Smelter and a refinery. Yeah, it's got to be a height thing. It's flipping somewhere. Yeah, it's absolutely what it is. Okay, so that does actually kind of work. And then that potentially gives us open blocks there. Yeah, it's 100% what it is this. So that gives us a block face there we could use, and a block face on the other side to tie in if we need to, but that plumbs all that up. And then over here, we're again back to 2 open faces. So that's all of our manufacturing and reprocessing stuff. It's not a terrible footprint. Let's go refill our suit. I did put down a sofa, but a sofa's slow. Let's just use the medbay and not crash, die, and kill things. Nope. There we go. So much faster. Still making a big revenge boat. We're still on task for our checklist. Alright, so baseline refinery stuff is done, and that is definitely within the width of this back here. So that's good. In fact, that's not even all that bad. We could go wider. We could. I wonder what the center of mass is for this. It's not centered, but it's not bad either. That's workable. we stick more things off on this, it gives us more to work with. Or I could drag this further over. If I drag that over, and then, because we still got a little bit of front space there, put the refinery on the side. And that does drag the center of mass further to that one side then. So as long as you keep that in mind when we place this down inside the ship, it won't be a big deal. Alright, back to production blocks. So we have... we need an H2O2 generator. We need a mod compat assembler. We need a synthetics factory, a regular assembler, fabricator, ceramics furnace. We're going to leave the cement kiln out. We'll just carry cement with us. We'll just have like 5,000 concrete. That'll solve that problem. Microelectronics factory. Wait, did I put down a chemical refinery? It's this, right? Yeah, okay. Anyway, microelectronics factory. Wire drawer. I don't think we're going to need an auto loom. The only thing the auto loom's going to do for us is parachute fabric, and that's not worth the wait. So we can do this. Anyway, this can go anywhere we want. In fact, the O2HU generator is probably going to go with the life systems at the front, not the back. So as far as things go, we've got so many hookup points we could use. We'll do that. Synthetics factory is got goofy hookup points on it. Because they're both on the same side. Oh, God. Fine. That's big. If we rotate it like this, we can slot it in. I don't like that at all, but whatever. That's what it is. That gets it placed and hooked up, and that's the important part. We got one port on the back and none on the front. So that kills that. We'll have to pull one of these forwards then, because these are all conveyors. Or potentially tubes. Let's see, assemblers. This gets us one on each side, so we could do that. And the fabricator is going to be a dead end point. So maybe we'll put the fabricator on the back end here where this is... Yeah, we'll just put the fabricator there. Oh, wait, but that's after... That's after the... sorter. So what we actually need to do... Because that's the sorter. And that's the hookup. So let's do... Let's just cut the sorter out. We'll put a junction in. And then over here, because what hooks into this? That hooks there? Huh. And then this hooks in here. So... let's cut this off. Let's cut this off. We'll put the sorter here. And then we'll go refinery. Which we're going to put there. This lines up with this back edge still. And then I'll put the smelter over here. The smelter will go in there instead. That's not the right thing. So the only thing that's going to be feeding into this is off this one sorter into there. This gets refined, and then we drop this back out again with another one-way sorter back out. We've only got the 2 ports there, but I can also pull it off this way. Right, do... do an inline sorter. That way. And then it's just a simple straight shot back. And to here. Yeah, because that's a conveyor junction. And now we've got a single loop of just the refinery and smelters, so it's only going to pick up the stuff we tell it to. So like the crushed stuff, the purified things, not everything minus whatever the crusher and purifier can get to. We're pretty much mostly centered up now that way. And front to back, it doesn't matter. I'm more concerned about lateral centering, because wherever this mass is centered is going to have an impact on the greater overall ship mass. Right now, we're still fully mirrored center line. So back to what I was doing. So we did the synthetics factory, we did the assembler, did we do the fabricator? Did I get distracted? These are all conveyor junctions, synthetics factory. I was going to put the fabricator down and then didn't. That's what it was. So mod compat assembler. We could put a fabricator here, because we're not turning that else off anywhere. Microelectronics factory is not all that big, and it's flat, so we can slide it back up in here instead. Microelectronics factory, the wire drawer is straight, the plate stamp is not, but that's fine. The assembler has the side port I want there, so we'll put the wire drawer off that. And then the extruder off that, because that's where that port is, right? Yeah. So we still need a place to put the plate stamp. We got this conveyor here, because that's the only conveyor junction I think that's going to actually have potential relevance. Yeah, it is. Cool. So we'll put the plate stamp. Actually, I could do goofy stuff with that. Let's do that. Let's do goofy stuff. I like doing goofy stuff. That works. Production blocks. Alright, so we lit off with the plate stamp, and then the extruder was the last thing we did. We do need a nano assembler. We're going to need a munitions factory. We're going to need an advanced assembler. Let's clear this out. Don't need chem refinery, don't need the oil stuff. Do we need an incinerator? I feel like if we're going to incinerate stuff, I'm just going to yeet it out the airlock instead. Got the nuclear processing stuff. We're not using Chronix munitions. The exotic materials refinery. We will need one of those. We won't need an ore catalyzer, but we will need a spice energizer. But we could put the spice energizer up in the front with like our H2O2. And we're also going to need a deuterium extractor. But these are blocks. The deuterium extractor, we only need one, theoretically. And actually, we might even not need that, because there's the scoop, right? And I kind of want to try the scoop again. Like, I'm going to regret this, I feel like. Let's see. Right, so deuterium ram scoop is 15 tons. It's pretty chonk. It's got some integrity, but not worth it for its total size. If this works, comparing that to a deuterium extractor at 3 tons plus however many tons of ice, I don't know. That's a lot of... That's 12 tons worth of ice. That's 12,000 liters of ice we'd have to make up that mass count. And an H2O2 gen. Yeah, that's not even what I'd be looking at. What's the rate of conversion? It's 5 liters per second of deuterium, and it burns 100 ice per second. Alright, so if we're looking at 12,000 liters of ice, that's 100, and that's 2 minutes. 2 minutes of deuterium production. That's 10, 600 liters? No. 120 seconds at 5 liters per second. Yeah, 600 liters of deuterium. Whereas this ram scoop, we're looking at 4.5 minutes constant movement forwards to scoop that same amount. And then after that point, it's free. But I would just put both on here, but I know for a fact from testing that having both on the same grid, even if they're not static, not good times. Problems happen. The ram scoop doesn't work right, or it doesn't generate deuterium, or the deuterium disappears. Which technically the ram scoop is still work in progress, so... It's just... I want it to work, but it's just not gonna... So at 3 kilograms for a deuterium extractor and then 12,000 liters of ice, that's already a better deal. We could just load up a whole bunch of ice, right? Because we're going to have it anyway for the H2O2 generator. And the spice energizer is still 3.5 kilos, and we need one of those to refill our spice tanks. So, it's not that big a deal. 15,000 liters per second for 100 activated spice. Or refined spice, rather. That's not bad. It's 150 times multiplication. And energized spice is small. We will need an exotic material refinery just for getting some processing stuff done. But since this is exotic, it doesn't have to be tied into the same loop as that. We can, but we don't have to. Although, I can do that. That's not connected to anything there. It can't connect to anything there because those don't have anything. It does shift our mass slightly that way, so we'll need to come back for the rest of it. But the nano assembler still needs to be plugged in. We got hookups there. And that gives us up and down versus further in. Munitions factory. And then the advanced assembler. We would have to use a conveyor port, but we wouldn't be breaking the existing max height. Like, I'm trying to keep things in the same general envelope. But that's one of every processing and manufacturing outside of the cement mixer and the synthetics weaver, which are things we'll never need. I don't know that we're going to need the actual, like, the crusher, purifier, refinery stuff either. It might be worth leaving those off. Because worst case scenario... So many grids. Worst case scenario, if for some reason I have to actually do heavy processing with this ship, because it's not designed for that. Could always just eat it. Right, because uranium... Like, all the uranium goes in raw, it doesn't get processed. There's no crushed or purified uranium, I don't think. Just hang on, let's check. There is a crushed uranium ore and a purified ore. Ooh. Interesting. Huh. I may not be running that through our sorters then. Let's see, raw ore. Do we have uranium in this? We do not. Do I have the ability to restrict uranium ore flow into the reprocessor without tearing things apart and redoing them? And I feel like the answer to that is no. But that... No, because that's just part of the regular stuff, because here's where the restricted sorting goes back out, yeah. Huh. So I may want to consider reworking that. We could be getting 2.5 to... I think this is a 50% increase, and then the purifier doubles it. You don't have to get the catalyzer. But that's one of the things where I don't know that it's worth either way, right? Because the catalyzer is only going to catalyze, what, the uranium at best? It doesn't work on anything else. I'm going in the wrong direction. It doesn't work on anything else. It's not going to work on any of the exotics. So it would be carried around just for uranium refining. I don't know if that's worth it. Anyway, what I was originally going with this was, if we buy the ingots directly from like Station 27 or whatever, we don't have to worry about the refining, which means we can cut out this, 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 the refinery itself, the smelter, these conveyors are no longer necessary, nor is this sorter. And that's a much smaller footprint. And we could take this and flip this exotic refinery around. Oh, that's way smaller. If we just rely on like dropping off large loads of ore at the ring or buying the ingots directly. I think that's going to be the way to go. In which case we're looking at, what, 62 tons versus 162 tons? That's way better. How are we doing over here on chopping this big beefy boy up? I feel like this has been floating this whole time. It started off over there, didn't it? Oh, it's absolutely drifting. Okay, let's fix... Okay, let's turn off center of mass. Let's fix that. It's absolutely drifting. Okay. I think... How do I want to connect? Turn off my own headlights. I think we're going to just come up here. And then drift across and grab it. Cool, I got it. This is still a pretty chunky bit of ship here. We're still 400 tons. And I'm slightly concerned that like a build and repair is going to grind off a block that we're holding on to. I hope this is enough to clear things. Sweet. Oh yeah, see, like just like that. There's bits falling off already. Alright, I want to go this way. And I'm just going to plunge this down. Hopefully not into the deck of the no-guns here, but I think we're now far enough ahead that's not an issue. We're just going to leave this in here. That'll hit drift sideways, it won't matter. Still not dead stopped, but it's close enough. I had some good drift to it. I made a good distance. Turn that off, go back here. I think when the jump drives were ground off, that's when it happened. That's a lot of mass that would have suddenly left it. And that would have been that. So, I have more options now. I don't need a munitions factory hanging off the bottom. I don't need an exotic refinery hanging off the side. I could do that. Just put an exotic refinery in the same lateral shifts as that, and then we've got this sticks off that end. Unfortunate. Though, it's that side that has it. Okay. But there's still a point of connection there. So that works. We don't need... We need that. We don't need this. Because that conveyor junction is connected here. Oh, but those hook into that. But that feeds off this. But where does that... No, we do need it. So otherwise we can't get anything up. Okay, so that has to be there. And that goes up. We don't need this one, because the fabricator can be spun into the mod compat assembler. There we go. Which still gives us a flatter front. That was refinery, or the fabricator. Put the fabricator back here. Or I can stick it here, because that's conveyor junction. Yeah, let's put it there instead. Tuck it out of the way. And then we've got this, which comes out the back end here. So I could do munitions factory here. We're still going out sideways at that point. The advanced assembler needs to be attached to somewhere still, right? There's no advanced assembler in this stack yet. Do we do the synthetics factory? Yeah, because the synthetics factory manufactures like plastics and stuff. So we'll need that. Oh, that's the advanced assembler, never mind. Nano assembler's down there. Munitions factory's down there. I think that's it. That's actually not that bad. There's got to be a way to slim this down a little bit more, though. Because that sticks out. But it sticks out because that's where stuff went. The nuclear reprocessor and the uranium centrifuge we still want. But we don't need them there. New cellar. Not reactor. Reprocessor. And the centrifuge. In fact, if I could... One of them was a 1 wide, I could stick it there and it would fit nicely. The plate stamp is a 2 wide, or I could do it there. The reprocessor 2, the centrifuge is not, however. Which is nice, and then we feed out the top there, so I could put the centrifuge here, and then just put another junction, and that's hooked in now. And then the reprocessor needs to feed out of the side or that end. That's the goofy one. That is the goofy one. But it's doable. Alright, because there's that. But then we got junctions here. And a light armor block we don't need anymore. I think I need to put that in just so I can place this now? Yes, okay. Can I get back in there through the wireframes? Not really. Can I get it from... No, can't get it from back here. Okay, so I placed it But I can't get back on. Get rid of the block now. But I could get rid of the plate stamp. Grind this out. That's still connected in. Plate stamp. Then I had that in this way. This way. Because it was tucked up. I guess it was that way. Oh, but now I could flip it flat. That's a little bit better. Still not great. Could I put the plate stamp back here somewhere instead? I might rip out this extruder, put the plate stamp there. Normal display, extruder. Let's add the extruder back in so I don't forget to put it in. Like, yes, but also no. Yeah, there's not really much value in cutting out the extruder from there. Okay, but then... Oh, hang on. The munitions factory is there. Gonna simply slap that in there. Now we're all ported together, and that's much more compact. That's much better. How much is... How big is this? 70 tons. That's not too bad. 70 and a half tons of mass. Lithium drone. Screaming off into the distance. I like this. This is potentially useful. Oh no, we gotta turn this back off. Too many subgrids. Clang's like, oh, you want to use that many subgrids? That's fine. As this continues to drift, we're just gonna make it so you can't see anything. The Grumpy Sergeant and the Woodpecker. Do I want to go grab another set of space pirate ships to salvage? I'm busy. Leave me alone. Alright, so there's these. We'll do this. We'll rotate a little bit more. We'll drop it down. Let's see if I can not set things on fire. We're locked. Nope. We're getting some big rolls. Alright. The question becomes... Do I think we're high up enough that I'm not going to clip that on the bottom? I'm not going to measure it. We're just going to go for it. Cool. I'm going to dip it down just a little bit. I feel like things are being deleted because the builder repairs are assholes. They're absolutely deleting things because they're assholes. That's fine. Even though I put it in, ignore this color. We'll just do the entire grid in normal gray. And we'll start building things instead. And we'll figure out what connection points broke afterwards. And then once this is in place, we'll see what it actually looks like properly set up. And then I'll figure out where I'm going to slot it in here, and I'll just use a merge block and join it together. And then while that's going on, I'll come down here. going to get me some composite armor blocks. And go about the business of spinning my mouse all around. I'll replace them more at the bottom exterior layer. Because, yeah. In fact, now we're going to hand grind this, because if I try to use the builder repair to do it, what's going to happen is it's going to ignore it while it's building those other pieces. And, yeah. That's kind of pointless. So we'll just deal with our suit telling us our inventory is full, like we're unaware of that fact. Like we're not intentionally dumping parts into space. Purely to get them out of our way. Alright, and we go to this shape, and we do this, and I just place all these down. Because again, these composite blocks have more, they've got more integrity than a full solid heavy armor block would. Like not even the heavy armor slope. Those only have 10,000 versus the 10,400 these have, and these have explosive resistance, which heavy armor doesn't. So it takes even less damage, and it weighs less. It has less mass. I like that. Okay. I'm just going to do the same thing up here. Just chop all these off. Because ultimately this is going to be, we don't have enough composite plates built yet to be able to build all these pieces out. So I have enough I can put some down. I'm going to go put some down. I'll wait for the build and repairs to build these out. I'll wait for our plate stamps to stamp more. And that'll be that. Let me just flip this around this way. Because again, even though these doors split apart, you can't mount on an edge. So the fact that these two edges are touching just means when the grid splits, when the merge blocks shut down, they're treated as two separate blocks, two separate grid sets now. And it's not an issue. But then when it's closed, because the airtight faces are butted up against each other, it is airtight. Which is nice. I like that. And then none of this stuff gets turned into that armor. And then I can always come over here, and where we come off the backside of this, I can put in composite armor. Right, as far as that goes. Like I could put in composite armor here, or I could do the super slopes, the little 30-degree panels here, which still have 4,800, which is twice what light armor would. All right, then just decorate across that and cover up, and that'll cover up the gap that we see from the blast plates, the blast doors. So that'll work out. And I haven't decided if or what I want to put things in the wall there, so that's why that's still empty. We've only got 15 plates left, that's fine. Do that. Hey, that works though. That absolutely works. And then some of the stuff we just don't flat need. So like this conveyor junction. We'll paint this one Destroy It pink. And we'll work on replacing conveyors that don't need to be conveyors with... or junctions that don't need to be conveyor junctions with regular pieces. So that's the fabricator that ties into that. Microelectronics factory, extruder, munitions factory, plate stamp, exotic material refinery, uranium centrifuge, the backside of the nanoassembler, the nuclear reprocessor, the advanced assembler, and the synthetics factory. Yeah. Oh, you know what we do need, though? We need a ceramics furnace. How did I miss that? How did I miss a ceramics furnace? I do it every time, too. Is the ceramics furnace in the production blocks? Yeah, it is. Okay. I just did stick one down for some reason. It's fine. Oh, I probably had it in the manufacturing section. So... No, not a chemical refinery. Ceramics furnace. There we go. This is a 3x3x5, which makes it one of the largest damn blocks in this entire thing. But I could stick it there, or stick it out 2 additional that way. Oh, wait, hang on. I can stick it here. Right? Yeah, put that there, and then we... Oh, wait, we can't do that, though, because then the plate stamp's in the way of plumbing it in, unless we plumb it on the backside. And if we're plumbing it on the backside, then this sticks out further. So then the plate stamp would have to be shifted. That doesn't work. Unless... Unless I shift it 90 degrees. If I spin it laterally 90 degrees, that'll work. No, it still won't, because then that... And that's being fed by a conveyor that will be there, but isn't right now. Alright, let's take the munitions factory. Munitions factory, ceramics furnace, plate stamp. Plat. Alright, let's rip both of these out. Put the munitions factory in here. In fact, I could then slide fabricator out of the way. If I slide the fabricator out of the way, if I put the fabricator back in here, right, attached that way onto the munitions factory, I don't need it here. That is the fabricator. And if that's not needed there, then I don't need this down. Oh, no, I do, because that's the wide boy. Okay, so that's fine. We still have that. But I may not need the mod compatibility assembler in that orientation. And I can put the plate stamp kind of back to where we started at that point. Kind of back to where we started, but it still works. We can't put anything in there because there's no ports. At which point the mod compatibility assembler... Actually, the mod compatibility could go there, and then we can plug something else in, like the ceramics furnace. It's got such a goofy, stupid I hate it. Okay, so let's put that there. With the ceramics furnace attached to that. And then the plate stamp can go one over further. Okay. That's a little bit better-ish. Not really. I could drag it down here instead and just make it extra long. I don't want to do that. It would be doable, though. I could do it. I could just drag it down. No, we're gonna leave it on the side like that. Plate stamp goes in there. Mod compatibility assembler is gonna come in like this. I can do goofy things that way if I need to. Actually, this is backwards. No, it's not. It's got to connect sideways. Could also do that. Okay, hang on. If I do that, we take the plate stamp. Goose, why are you spending so much time on this? Because I can't let it go. That's ultimately what it comes down to. I just can't let it go. Okay, no, this is functional. Put those two pieces there. Put the plate stamp there. It's connected in, and we're good. In fact, we're great. We are great then. This sticks out a tad far, but the only way that's getting changed is if I gut the synthetics factory out and relocate the synthetics factory. And if I do that, I've got to redo everything anyway, and we're still just making it bigger in one dimension. I could just get a little bit of space to work with and drop the reprocessor down a block and spin the synthetics factory sideways.
Energy low.
I'm aware my suit energy is low. My cat's a butt. Alright, so if we do this and then spin this. Yeah, it does need to go this way. But I can do that. Everything just broke free. Okay, so mistakes were made there. Everything is just drifting, as we can now see the constituent parts. Including the advanced assembler. So actually, we're just gonna do that. We'll put the advanced assembler back on our hotbar. And then once that's done... Oh god, that's so creepy. It's gonna come back this way, and we'll try to hook on here without damaging anything too much. Nope. That might blow up things. That's a lot of mass. That's a lot of render part desync. Okay, there we go. Up. Stop swinging. Just to settle down. There we go. That stuff will disappear eventually. Okay, so reprocessors put back in. This is all one grid. I could put in the synthetic spectrum. If I turn it sideways, it can still do things. So there's that as an option. In fact, we could do this and then put another conveyor junction here. I like that. Let's just slice sideways. Try this without touching things and therefore making them drift goofy ways. And then all we need back is the advanced assembler then, which I can turn on its side. Yes, okay. And then the nuclear reprocessor is already back down here, so we're gold. We're gold, okay. And it's still a goofy footprint, but it's better than it was? Maybe? Is it better than it was? I feel like the answer is still yes, I just don't like it. But is anything dependent on being... No, nothing's dependent on being face up. Could I flip up the exotic refinery and the nano assembler at that point? And just do them vertically? Right, because this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Anyway. Alright, I'll be right back, everybody. some stuff came up. I gotta kill this. Sorry. Back next Thursday. Try and continue this. Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern, maybe-ish? Maybe MechWarrior? We'll see. Stay safe. Stay goose.